Happy New Year, everybody. My name is Daniel from Buttercross Estates, and today, the first kind of chat of the year, I'm joined with Carrie Boughtwood of APT Legal. So we're just going to find out a bit more about Carrie, her business, and what she does, and find out a bit more. So, firstly, for those who don't know you, Carrie, do you just want to introduce yourself?
Good morning. So I'm Carrie Boughtwood from APT Legal, like Daniel says. I am a director of the company, and I specialise in wills, powers of attorney, and advice around probate. Super,
thank you very much. And well, we met a few years ago now at remind me.
Nottingham RSVIP.
That was it, yeah, RSVIP. Which Fiona Duncan runs, which is great. And turns out, obviously, we were both kind of based out in Newark, and yeah, it's been good. And obviously, both part of Newark Business Club. And you were the leader of Carrie's Babes not last year, year before, when we did the Dragon Boat race, which was great fun.
Yeah. And we were winners as well. We won the most amount raised.
We did. Yes, yeah, very well done on that part. So looking forward to doing that again this year, hopefully, fingers crossed. So you deal with wills, powers of attorney. For those that don't know, just the basics. What is a will?
Okay, so when you pass away, your will decides who receives your estate. So I've got 5 top tips for why you should make a will. And those are, so you can choose how your estate is distributed. So you can decide who benefits from your assets. If you're unmarried, you can make sure that your partner receives your estate, or at least part of it. You can make sure your children are looked after. So sadly, if something happened to you and your partner, then the children, they need to have guardians to make sure that they're looked after and taken care of. So you can name who you would want to appoint to look after the children, rather than family members arguing over it and social services getting involved. You can safeguard your assets for your children. So if the children are under 18, they can't take a legal receipt for the assets. So you can make sure that you put the right people in charge to make sure that the funds are looked after for your children. And also you can look at ways at mitigating your inheritance tax liability.
Okay. Sounds good. Sounds quite an important document. What would happen if someone passed away without a will?
Okay.
What happens?
So if you die without a will, it's called you intestate. So instead of you deciding who receives your estate, there's statutory law that states the pecking order on who is entitled to obtain to deal with the estate, and also to receive the funds. Also, you won't have guardians in there, which is one of the main points. If you've got young children, you won't decide who looks after the children, and normally it's whoever shouts the loudest will get to decide who looks after the child or children, rather than you deciding. So for example, you might not want your sister-in-law to be the guardian, but if she's the one that's a stronger character, she's probably going to end up being the guardian. You may want to have your brother or somebody else.
Okay. So obviously no one really likes thinking about death and all that, but I suppose for people, you probably see that a lot of, would it be fair to say, a lot of young people perhaps don't have a will, and never thought about a will. Is that kind of what you see?
That's true, yeah. I mean, the majority of my clients are probably 55 plus, because they're thinking about coming to the end of their working life and looking at everything. They've got grandchildren, and they're starting to think about things and putting documents in place. Younger people, we all think we're invincible. It's not going to happen to us, but sadly, unfortunately, accidents do happen. And if last year's got anything to go by, then unfortunately there are things out of our control that it could bring the end of your life closer than you're expecting. But it's more important really for younger people, especially if they've got children, because you want to make sure that your children are looked after. And I would have thought that's most important thing to most parents.
Yeah. So do you see it a lot of times when people are starting a family or have got a young family, then that's probably a point where people think, oh, we need to get a will because of our offspring now. Is that a common reason?
It is, yeah. I mean, there's a few triggers that make people actually go ahead and have their will prepared, because I find it's always on people's to-do list. Yes, we'll get it sorted one day. Yeah, we know we need to think about that, but we're just not ready. But yeah, normally if somebody moves house, has a baby, or if sadly something happens to someone close to them in their family, they're normally the three main triggers that people think, actually, yeah, I need to put my will in place now.
Okay. And could you do your will yourself?
Yeah, you can do, like most things in life, you can DIY. But I liken it to the fact that I could probably go on YouTube and learn out how to fix the brakes on my car. I wouldn't do so because at the time that I need my brakes, it's too late if it doesn't work, which is quite like your will. You can create your own will, you can sign it and it can be valid, but you only find out it's not valid and it's not going to work when you're not here and you then can't put it right. So I always recommend that somebody has it done professionally, because then they know that A, it is correct and it's legal, but B, if something goes wrong, you've got a professional that can help put it right.
Yeah, okay, sounds good. And when you've done a will, what happens to it? Is it just going to sit there?
So yeah, there's a few options. You can, I mean, what I do with my clients is I scan the original onto my system, so I've always got the copy, and I send the bound version back to the client for them to store with their important paperwork, whether that be in a filing cabinet or safe. The reason I do that is because then the clients know where the document is at all times, the family know where it is, and it's easier to put their hands on it when the time comes. You can pay for storage. You can register it with certain companies who will then store it for them. But I give the clients the options and they decide, but the majority of my clients prefer to keep the document themselves, and I keep a scanned copy so we know that there's always a copy on hand.
Okay, super, brilliant. And you obviously touched on a couple of reasons to make a will, and it sounds like important changes in people's lives kind of trigger that. So obviously house buying or selling, or changing investments is one, along with a growing family, and obviously for us, we would encourage anyone who does have a change in circumstances with their property to obviously get a will done professionally, and just make sure that you are covered and you're protected, and your estate is passed on and looked after how you really want it to. And obviously we're in the third lockdown that we've had now of COVID and coronavirus. How has it changed your business? Has it affected you, and how have you adapted over the last kind of 12 months or so?
Yeah, I mean, I'm extremely lucky. I've been able to work throughout. I really do feel for companies and individuals who have either not been able to work, or their businesses has slowed down, and some even closed. Like I say, I'm very lucky I can still work. All of my appointments, the initial consultation, going through the client's options and details and taking the information from them, I'm doing via Zoom or another video call method. And then I can send the documents in the post for them to approve and check they're happy. And then for signing, we've got a few options. If I can go and see them, they're not shielding, I will sign in their front garden, which was fine during the first lockdown because it was nice weather, but at the moment it's a little bit chilly, standing on someone's front garden looking through the lounge window, but it's the safest way we can do so. If I am having to go into somebody's home, I'm just wearing a mask and keeping my distance and being extremely safe. We can now sign via video call. So if clients are shielding and they don't want anybody coming even to their front doorstep, and they haven't got a neighbour who can be our second witness, then we are able to sign via video call. But we have to make sure it's done properly. So on that call with the client, I'd ask them to scan the room to make sure that there's nobody there having any undue influence or telling them that they need to sign. Myself and my partner would then watch them sign via Zoom, or another video call method, and then the clients post the documents back to me, and then myself and my partner sign as the witnesses for them. And that was changed in April for lockdown, because otherwise people wouldn't be able to sign their wills, and they're such important documents.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, a good evolution for the business and way of working. So, okay, super, well done. And so, if someone wants to get in touch with you, what's the best way? Can they have a chat with you? What would happen next?
That's it. Yeah, I mean, there's a few different ways people can contact me. They can telephone me, and my number is 07771 868 235. If I don't answer, it's normally because I'm in with clients or in a Zoom meeting at the moment. So people can leave me a message and I'll call back. They can drop me an email, and my email address is carrie@apt-legal.co.uk, and Carrie is spelled CARRIE. I've had a whole lifetime of having to spell my name all the time. Or I'm on LinkedIn and Facebook. So if you just search for Carrie Boughtwood, you can see me there. And clients, I have a lot of inquiries where people will just call or email and say, we're not sure if we need to either make a will, update our will, or they've got any questions about powers of attorney. And I always offer a free consultation to clients so that they can give me a call and we can just chat through what they're concerned about. And I can either tell them they need to do something and we can book an appointment. I can also signpost as well, because I worked in practice as a solicitor. I've got lots of legal contacts in other areas of law. So if it's something that crosses over with mine, which a lot of the time it's family law or property, I can put people in contact with people I know and trust, so I know they get the right advice too.
Perfect. Sounds great. Okay, Carrie, thank you very much for your time today. I appreciate that, and I look forward to seeing you soon.
Brilliant. Thanks very much, Daniel.